Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Senator Mark Wayne Mullin is our guest. We love to talk to the senator from Oklahoma. Senator, I checked during the break. You were not even born when Watergate happened and the Urban Committee assembled and a select committee drilled down on Richard Nixon. Now, I knew Richard Nixon. I worked with Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon was a friend of mine. And what they did to him was wrong, and people can read about what happened 52 years ago. But I think we need a select committee on Jack Smith. Have you been following this today? Have you talked to Ted Cruz or any of your buddies who got spied on?
No, I haven't. Oh, yes, about the ones who got spied on, but I haven't talked to Ted today. I will tell you, though, Hugh, I am a huge fan of President Nixon. I have read, I don't know how many different books on him. I think he was one of the best presidents as far as it comes to foreign policy, understanding the layout of foreign policy, the need of it, and his political, I guess you'd call astute, where he was quite a man. And I've read bios on every president except Biden and Obama, and I've learned probably more. My favorite president is Teddy Roosevelt, but I have learned more about reading about Richard Nixon than I probably have any other president.
Well, when you get ready to join it with the conference to figure out what to do about Jack Smith, because that guy was way off the reservation. He is a nut, and we can't ever let that happen again. He issued 179 subpoenas or 197 subpoenas against Republicans.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But we knew that that they had weaponized the DOJ. We already knew that. This isn't anything that we didn't know. What's surprising is what length they took to cover it up, and how long it has taken Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, and Ratcliffe to look inside under the covers and realize how they use the intelligence community, how they use the power of the DOJ, how they use FISA courts, how they went around all these individuals, and then were really basically writing their own subpoenas by being their own witness. And you're going, how did this take place? How was it that we allowed them to abuse a system like that? How is it that in Trump 45, we didn't find some of this stuff? Because it didn't just happen underneath the Biden administration. This was happening underneath the Obama administration, underneath the leadership of President Obama and Hillary Clinton, who was, you take that all the way to the Russian gate, and now you just continue to move forward. And every time you peel a piece of the onion off, Hugh, you find more information down there. I mean, when I was on the Intel committee in the House, we were dealing with some of this. And then we continue to deal with it with the Biden administration. And now that we are able to get the information, because these individuals that were left behind were covering for them. And as we I say clean shop by getting rid of the deep state, you're starting to see more of this information come out. And I'm going to tell you, Hugh, this isn't the end. This is the beginning of where this goes. But Jack is, he used his position to 100% weaponize against political foes, not against the rule of law.
Yeah, go and take his passport away, because he might be trying to get back to The Hague. But when you wiretap or ask for a wiretap on Ted Cruz and want his phone records, I've known the senator before he became a senator. He's really smart, and it's great fun to talk high law with him and Supreme Court stuff, but he's not that interesting. I don't know he's not the guy you would finger as the mastermind behind a plot to bring down democracy, much less the Republican Attorney General's Association. It's mind-boggling, Senator, that we had a DOJ that went rogue.
And it's funny you said that about Ted Cruz, because he is very hilarious, but he's very hilarious because he's almost awkward hilarious.
Yes.
But he's not somebody that you would think would be running into conspiracy. There's no reason behind it other than just the fact that they're weaponizing the DOJ against their political enemies. And they consider Ted Cruz and other senators and representatives too as a political enemy, just like they went after President Trump and those around him. And it's just it makes you sick, because I'm not one to really talk about the deep state, to say there's a deep state and it really does exist. I always assumed the deep state was people talking about Congress and the so-called backroom deals that take place in Congress. But the deep state is the bureaucracy. Deep state is these unelected officials, not the elected officials, the unelected officials that think that they have this hand over the United States government because they're lifetime employees and politicians come and go. And so therefore they're going to do what they want to, because really no one's going to pay attention because their boss is appointed, and he's going to be appointed every 2 to 4 years. And so there's no real boss there. So therefore I'm the boss. And it creates this deep state that says that we know best, the American people doesn't, because they live inside this Washington, D.C. called the bubble. And they think the bubble is what should be ruling the world and the United States. And it's created this atmosphere of the deep state, which Jack was part of.
Now, I've been dragged kicking and screaming to using the term deep state because I normally associate it with Stasi and the secret police. But I had Rick Crawford on first hour. He's on House Intel now. You've been on Intel, so you know if we gin up the surveillance machine on someone, we can really scope them, x-ray their whole life. It's very scary. Americans are not supposed to do it against Americans, but Jack Smith was going about it. So I return to my original question. I know seniority matters a lot in the Senate, but do you think we can get a select committee? Because nothing draws the media attention to something like the word select committee. I mean, that just draws everybody in to watch 24/7. What do you think? Is that possible?
I'm okay with getting a select committee, and yes, it is possible, but the select committee where it gets hard is, do they have authority? So where they have subpoena authority and where they have authority to be able to pass the charges on to the DOJ. Otherwise, I'm not interested in doing a clown show. I would rather, at that point, if there's criminal charges, to allow the DOJ to put it in front of a grand jury and go that route. If we're doing a select committee here in Congress, I want it to do something, not just be for publicity purposes. And Hugh, you've been around long enough; you know exactly what I'm talking about. And by the way,
you just nailed it. Subpoena authority. Subpoena authority and the ability to refer to DOJ, put them under oath, let them perjure themselves, and then send them to justice.
That's right. That's the only way that I'd be interested in doing a select committee. And what I was going to say, Hugh, you and I agree on the fact that I've always been very cautious about using the deep state term until probably the last 2 months, when you're seeing Kash Patel and Pam Bondi bring out what has really been happening. When you talk to Tulsi Gabbard, and she's talking about all these files that they're finding that they're having to dig up, and that they've been, and then you go, oh my Lord, this is deeper than what I was even thought. This is worse than what I even expected it to be.
Yeah, I think it starts with Brennan, Comey, and Clapper ambushing Trump in Trump Tower before he's inaugurated the first time. And it's now 10 years of this stuff, and it's got to end. Senator Mark Wayne Mullin, always good to see you. I didn't even talk to you about the shutdown. You going to get the government open this week, or are the Democrats still stuck on stupid?
They're still stuck on stupid.
Okay. I love talking to this guy. Thank you, Senator Mullin. Don't go anywhere, America. I'll be right back with Sarah Bedford from the Washington Examiner, Jim Talent coming up as well. Stay tuned to the Hugh Hewitt Show.
The Hugh Hewitt Show is now available on TV. Go to SalemNewsChannel.com or download the app. You can also watch on Roku and Fire Stick. Salem News Channel, the antidote to the mainstream media.